Okay, everybody, we are back. I'm Chad, by the way. I help people with wealth, health, and prosperity. So, why is doing law of attraction techniques, manifesting techniques? Okay, if you do law of assumption, you listen to Neville Goddard. Why do we have to do all these techniques? These affirmations, the gratitude pad, writing assignments. Doing a morning and bedtime routine. Why do we have to do it? Okay, and this is what we're going to discuss today. I'm going to try to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. I try to anyway. But anyway, let me know below, comment below your experiences with using law of attraction techniques, if you feel they work or not, your opinion, of course, and that's always welcome. So comment below and let me know. So, now, kind of like in my opinion, okay, first off, some people think that, well, we don't have to do all these law of attraction techniques. Chad, all these techniques and homeworks, all they are is a scam. They don't work. You don't need to do them. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, the one thing is, part of it is true. Okay. It is true. We really don't need to do them. But there's an if. There's a big if here. There's a but if. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, okay, to the core of us, okay, to the core, if we just truly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, we just truly believe abundance is inside us. Abundance is our birthright. Okay, abundance is ours. Okay, we can have whatever we want. Once we put our mind to it, once we say we want it, we're going to get it without a shadow of a doubt. We don't have any sneaky little voice telling us, it's not true. You know what I mean? We don't have any negative thoughts around us. We don't have this deep gut feeling thinking like, I'm not going to get it. Make sense? Now, if we just firmly believe like a child, like whatever I want, I'm going to get, we're really in reality, we just need to do it one time. We just need to say a one affirmation or a one gratitude affirmation. Well, thank you, Father, that I have $300,000 in my checking account ready to go to Thailand. Thank you that I paid off my mom's car loan. Thank you. We only need to say it one time because we truly believe it's going to happen. We just truly believe it's going to happen. We can say it one time, walk away, let go of the how, and we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to come into our lives. It has a gestation period. We just blindly trust, and we know it's going to, kind of the fruition of it is going to come to us. We know it without a shadow of a doubt. Okay. Now, if you follow Neville Goddard, you have a morning routine, bedtime routine. If I set an intention, go into my imagination, reality, even Neville Goddard says this in some of his trainings and some of his live lectures, that I forget what lecture it came out of, okay, because I have like 150 lectures of his, that if you really just believe it, you only need to do it one time. Set your intention, go in your imagination once, and that's all you need to do. Okay. Now the issue is, this is a big if. The issue, this is why I said there's a big if. The issue is, most of us don't believe it. Okay. That's just human nature. Okay. Most of us still have beliefs, when we're a child, when we grow up. Okay. Our belief system has been developed since we're like 5 years old. Okay. By our parents or our families. Okay, our aunts and uncles. Once we went to school, we took on beliefs of our teachers and coaches. Okay, we went to college, we take on beliefs of them. But most of the time, it's within our own childhood. Our beliefs are already there, and our beliefs is a combination of both our parents. That's kind of embedded in us. Okay, and with that, when we're trying to change our lives, when we're trying to think about abundance is inside, conceptually speaking, we do believe it. Conceptually speaking, we can talk about it. We can talk about that's what we're into, or we kind of secretly hope it's true. You know what I mean? If you hope something is true, you really deep down, there's an if there. Okay, you hope it's true. It's not just true. Makes sense? And we have to pay attention. The hardest thing with personal development, the hardest thing with law of attraction, okay, the reason why it don't work, it really comes down to our own belief system. Okay, deep to our core. That's why I say sometimes they secret you. Okay, the secret you that nobody knows. Your own self-talk. Okay, how you talk to yourself. Makes sense? What you think about. When something happens, what do you think? You're not talking out loud most of the time. You're thinking it. Okay, you're thinking thoughts of mediocrity. You're thinking thoughts of scarcity. You're thinking thoughts of lack of abundance. You're thinking that you can't have it. Make sense? So I hate to say that word makes sense a little bit, but that's the kind of thought process I'm on right now. But that's the whole changing factor, is it really comes down to our beliefs. Okay, what do you really believe? Okay, what you want in your life. Okay, do you really believe you can have it? Or do you still have self-doubt? Okay, self-doubt, worry kind of creeps in. You start doubting the process. You have immediate gratification creep in. It's not happening fast enough. You're not letting go. You're trying to control the how. You're trying to control how it's going to happen. You're so attached to it. You're trying to look for every angle to try to get what you want, and it's not working. You start doubting the process. You start worrying it don't work. Your little voice in your head says, I told you could never have it. I told you it wasn't going to work. Okay? And that's what I mean. That's why it's so important to do law of attraction techniques. It's so important to do manifesting techniques. It's so important to have like the gratitude pads, and you have a gratitude notebook. You're writing down what you want. You're writing down your intention. You're having your morning and bedtime routine. That's why it's so important. Because really what you're doing is you're repeating it enough that sooner or later, if you're consistent and persistent with it, sooner or later, you're going to wake up one day. Okay. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. It might be next month. It might be 3 months from now. But if you stay consistent, you stay persistent, sooner or later, you're going to wake up and a light bulb's going to pop on. You're going to wake up different and you're going to get it. Okay. It's going to be to your core. You're just truly going to believe, for whatever reason, you're going to truly believe you can have whatever you want. You're going to truly believe that abundance is inside you. Okay. What you set your mind to, you can have. You're going to truly believe it. You're going to truly believe abundance is your birthright. Okay. And once you truly believe it, that, my friends, that right there, once you just truly believe, that's when makes manifesting easier. That's when things will start flowing into your life. That's when you'll get what you want, when you just truly believe. That's why doing these exercises is so important. When you do it over and over and over, it's repetitive. Because if we didn't do it, repetitive, if we weren't consistent with it, and we just gave up, okay, we go right back to our scarcity mindset. We go right back to our non-belief system. We go right back saying to ourselves, see, I told you so. I told you so. You're not going to get what you want. I told you it wasn't going to work. I knew from the beginning it wasn't going to work anyway. Have you ever heard people say that? Maybe you say that to yourself. Have you ever heard someone say, maybe they go on a diet and they do a diet for 3 months and they finally quit. Okay. Then they're venting to you a little bit. Then they say these key words. They say, well, I knew it wasn't going to work anyway. I knew from the beginning it wasn't going to work. You ever hear someone say that? Maybe you say it to yourself secretly. You want something, you set your attention. You're doing all these exercises, but deep down you're doubting the process. Deep down you're telling yourself, it's not going to work. Or deep down you tell yourself, well, I'll give it a try. I'll see if it works. Okay. Well, if you give it a try, you see if it works, it means you don't believe yet. So you have to keep on doing it until you wake up one day and you finally just get it. You finally just believe. You finally just get that I can have what I want. I can have any lifestyle I want. Whatever I put my mind to, I can have. Whatever I want to do, I can do. Okay. Then once you're just super confident with it, you learn just to let go of the process, stop controlling the how, let it be. Okay, when you just truly forget and stop controlling the how, it comes to you. Okay, let me give you an example real quick. We're going to wrap this up. Okay, sometimes I don't know what direction to take in life. Sometimes, we want to ask the universe for direction. We want to ask the universe, should I still continue doing this? Sometimes we have like a specific question. Okay. And I've done this and it's worked really well for me. Okay. And I'll tell you how it works really well. Sometimes I would, go to bed at night, have my bedtime routine, and I'll just have a specific question for God, specific question for the universe. And it might be in a realm of, hey, let me know if I'm on the right path. Give me a sign. Okay. It could be something like that. It could be, last week I did this because I'm here in Ohio visiting my family. Okay. Now I have passive income coming in from different online businesses and stuff like that. But I took a job, okay, to kind of bring in more money because I'm going back to Thailand for a year. So I took a job in these small towns as factory work. I mean, bottom line is you're not treated very well in factories. I mean, you're just overworked, no breaks, on this mandatory OT. So I quit. I just got fed up and quit. And I thought, well, I'm going to spend more time on doing what I want to do, more time focusing into what I want to do, and look at jobs that I really want rather than doing something I don't want. So I was taking a walk one day and I asked the universe, hey, let me know what my next step should be. And looking for a job, should I go back to the factories or should I look for something more for what I really want to do rather than doing something that sucks the life out of me? Okay. And a day later, I got a sign. A day later, I got an answer. Okay. But the reason it works is when I truly let go, when I truly stop controlling the how, when I truly just forget, I forget for a moment that I asked God that. I forget for a moment that I asked the universe this question. Once I just truly forget and stop being attached to it, stop controlling the process, all of a sudden, like it's either sometimes it's a sign, sometimes it's a text message from somebody that says something kind of along the line. Sometimes it's just you get an intuitive thought or you get like an intuition of you're thinking about something and it's the answer you're looking for. Okay. I used to do this. Sometimes I would do like a meditative walk where I'll walk and think and ask. Sometimes I would do this at nighttime where before I go to sleep, I ask. And then when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I just truly forget about it because I go on with my day. Then when I truly forget, the answer comes. Okay, because I truly just trusted the process. Yes, I forgot about it. I let go of controlling the how, and that's when the answer came. What we have to do is learn to trust the process. There's a process for everything. We have to go through a certain process. Just like I used to be a professional athlete. I used to train professionally in martial arts. I trained professionally and competed professionally in martial arts back when I was a middle teenager, older teenager in my early 20s. So through this is what happens is anything we start off being a beginner. Then we move to a novice. Then we move to intermediate. And then we move to advanced. But what people want to do is they want to start off being a novice, but they want to jump. They want immediate gratification. They want to jump clear to advance. Okay, same thing in law of attraction. They're a novice. Okay, but they want to jump clear to the advance. You don't want to go through the process. Okay, we have to go through the process. Okay, the law of attraction, all these exercises, all these techniques, you have to go through the process because if you don't go through it, you're really not going to believe. You're not going to, each time, and this is what Neville Goddard says, each time, he always says this, if you set an intention, it must happen, it must come true. If it doesn't come true, it's because of you. If it doesn't happen, it's because you gave up. You doubted the process. Okay, but if you set an intention, it must happen. Period. Okay, but what he also says in some of his lectures is each time you set an intention and it works, it strengthens your faith. It strengthens your belief a little bit. So then when you set an intention again, it happens a little bit easier for you. Then it gets easier and easier and easier. You're not going to jump right from novice to advanced. You have to go through the process, okay, of developing your belief, developing your faith, developing your own believe over abundance is mine. Abundance is my birthright. Abundance is inside me. Heaven is within me. Okay, you have to do this stuff over and over and over until you finally get it and you finally believe. That's why law of attraction, that's why all these techniques, law of attraction techniques, manifesting techniques, that's why we have to do them. We have to stay persistent with it until we finally just get it, till we finally just core believe, then we set an intention. Then once it happens, we get a little bit more confident with it. We're like, dude, this stuff really works. What I believe in is mine. What I believe in is, as if you believe, you receive. You start seeing it in your own life play out. So you gain a little bit more confidence the next time you set an intention. You see that happen. You gain a little bit more confidence. Then that happens. Then you gain a little bit more confidence. You set another intention, another want. Then that happens. You set another one. So I'm kind of stepping up, kind of climbing up a ladder. Okay, going from novice to beginner. Then little steps. There's little things I need to learn along the way. Learn about myself. Okay, it's not just learning about the outside world. Everything is within. Okay, this Chad right here has bad habits. So, there's little things I got to learn along the process about Chad. The little things I got to learn about my deep beliefs. What do I secretly tell myself? Make sense? What do I secretly repeat? Okay. Am I repeating scarcity mindsets? Scarcity thoughts? Not abundance? See, that's why we have to go through this process, because it's like peeling an onion. Okay. Every layer, we can't just go to the core. We have to peel through it. We have to peel each layer. Okay, that's why personal development, that's why some people don't want to go through personal development. Some people, when they start law of attraction, it starts to get tough. The reason it gets tough is because it exposes who you really are. And you got to come in and fix it. You got to come in and fix your beliefs about yourself. Okay, that's why this is what makes law of attraction a little bit tough. Because in the process, you're becoming a better person. Yes, you're improving your life, but deep down, you're becoming a better person. That's what's happening slowly. That's why when we start off on a novice, there's certain things we got to go through. Now we're kind of a beginner. Then as a beginner, there's certain things we got to go through. Now we're intermediate. Even at intermediate, there's certain things we got to go through. Now we're advanced. When we're advanced, again, there's certain things we got to do. Okay, we're always getting better and better and better, but with ourselves, understanding why we do what we do, good habits and bad habits. That way we can adjust them and fix them a little bit, adjust our mindset. That's why all these exercises are so important to do, and important not to give up and not fall into this immediate gratification. Okay. This where immediate gratification becomes, it's really a bad habit. I mean, we want things now. If we don't get things quickly enough, well, it just don't work. Makes sense? And we doubted the process. And we really think we doubted the process along the whole way. That's why it's not working. That's why it's not working, my friends. If I could talk, that's why it's not working, my friends. But other than that, hopefully that helped. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your positives, negatives. Let me know your struggles. If you have questions, you can even reach out to me by email. If it's more, a personal question, you don't want to write a public comment. I answer every email as long as I get them. It doesn't go through spam and whatnot. Sometimes things go through spam and I just don't get it. Or every once in a while, I'll check my spam and I have a couple messages in there. Then I'll finally answer them. But if you send me a message, I'm just not ignoring you. It's usually because it went to my spam. It went to my spam box. And, it's just sitting there until I finally check my spam. But anyway, comment below and I'll see you, and blessings to you. And I'll see you in the next video.